I got a vial. Gotta keep. Yeah, your fire ice is also worse. Yeah, you have to block there. I'm happy with the block. I think it's like really the only thing we could have done differently to win, but that's Magic the Gathering, right? Like sometimes you'll take the line that you think is correct. I could be wrong, but in this specific spot. But sometimes you take the correct line and lose. We might have lost anyways with the block though. Why are they playing Jaya? And like, why did they cast the Jaya before the persist? I had so much hope. They dealt me so much psychic damage there. Is Burn again? It is Burn again. Burn's been so popular lately. Is this the energy list, or at least inspired from it? If you're talking about the deck I'm playing, I mean, I've been playing this deck since like about when Brothers War released, and since Recommission has been around. I'm not familiar with the energy list, but I put this deck together, and this is an update from the old list from like 2 months ago. Oh, I guess if Jaya is their waifu, then that's understandable. How much for Dono for me to do a twist on Nightfall? I don't do Dono decks, sorry. Nightfall is also like just like not a very good combo, unfortunately. Not something I'm too interested in. Searing Blaze. I just recommissioned Voice this turn. We could like put a Kaheera into play in 2 turns and race. Racing like that is not usually great, but it could be okay this game with like a completely painless mana draw. Seems fine. I like it if they have Eidolon. They have a Sunbait Canyon also. Next turn we're attacking for 8. Jai is a token generator card advantage. Yeah, but it's like, it's a 4-drop in a deck that is playing like 4 creativities and a transmogrify. And I don't know. I kind of hate it. I typically think that like 4 mana planeswalkers in the sideboard for grindy matchups aren't good. My opponent cast Jaya in both of our sideboard games and won both sideboard games, but I also thought Jaya looked really bad in both of those games, so I don't know. Kind of weird, right? Yeah, this line was really, really good against an Eidolon. Blood Moon Juke? I don't know if I like it as a Blood Moon Juke either. I just don't like it in general, I guess. Dude, Kaheera is just so good in this deck. There's actually a real companion here too. Pioneer Hammer Time, huh? Oh, this is a warrior? That's so big. I had no idea this was a warrior. Wow, that's huge. So for those of you who don't know, Resolute Strike equips a equipment to a warrior. Holy shit. You're gonna have like, you're just gonna kill people on turn 2. So often. You have Nahiri now too. Wow. Okay, don't play Planar Disruption as an open armory target, I think you'll basically never get it. Or not often enough. Wow, that's crazy though, that's a warrior. Is that intentional, do you think? Did they realize? I really want you to play a protection spell. I don't know what the best 1-mana protection spell in Pioneer is. I don't think Blacksmith Skill is not legal. It's a disgusting Modern Horizons 2 card. Because the last time I brought Endurance, because our opponent showed us Bedlam Reveler, I'm not gonna think about Bedlam Reveler again, so I'm bringing in the Wisp. I want protection spells. I don't want you to play Griff Spoon. I don't want you to play. I don't think I like the Rabbit Battery that much either. I want to play like 3 protection spells. Yeah, it might be God's Willing. I just don't know if there's a better one. Lawrence Escape, Hexproof, Indestructible. Protection might be better than Hexproof, Indestructible because he gets through Mono Green's blockers. That's probably true. Doomwake, what do you think about this? This is a warrior. What the heck? Yeah, isn't protection to get through mono green's blockers just the most important thing? No, blessing's not Pioneer legal. That seems sick. I don't think I've got too many notes besides maybe you play like just 2 Nihiris in the main and then you have 4 blessing. That's maybe where I would start. I'm not also like this so this is the 4-man Nihiri. That's your like redundancy for. I mean, this is like you have 8 other equippers. You could probably just play 2 of these. I don't know. I always hated how high on the curve that card is too. And then in theory, you can like maybe side out the blessings against non-interactive matchups. I don't know exactly what for, but I would probably have something that makes you faster if possible. But yeah, I think the planar disruption, rabbit battery. I think these are just like textbook, like too many tutor targets for a card that is basically always just going to get you a hammer. You know what I mean? Hammer or Shadow Spear. You just don't need another one, I think. Okay, white card for Solitude would be okay. That's a white card. For Solitude, I guess. Oh, also, no, sorry. There's also the 2 mana. There's a 2 mana card from the new set. It equips a thing to itself. You need to be playing that over Nihiri, actually. There's a new card. It puts the hammer on the thing. It's like, you should probably just be playing 4. Maybe you should be playing like 3 or something like that, because you have like other ways. But that card's just better than Nihiri. Yeah, I don't know if that's the new Kimba. Whatever that card's called. Dude, okay, no. I think Pioneer Hammer is going to be a real deck, actually. Wow. I don't know if Doom said anything. I wasn't looking. Oh, Doom suggested Kimba already. Let the record show that was my idea. Doom never even said anything. No, we lost. They went creativity on 3. We almost beat it. We had Orvar, but then they had to persist. It was rough. Maybe we'll play a Pioneer Hammer. Sounds kind of fun. But like people, you will just die on turn 2 in Pioneer to this card. You will it's not gonna be like that consistent, but like there's like a lot of like. It always has to be this new Reckless Charger, whatever that card's called, into either Sigarda's Aid Hammer or the instant plus hammer. But you're just gonna die on turn 2. Yeah, I've seen some Pioneer Hammer lists in the past. It's been a little while. Can it work in Modern? Can Hammer work in Modern? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think you could build a Colossus Hammer deck in Modern. Oh wow, it's nuts. So I'm not gonna violent. I guess I should have violent Kaheera first. Actually, I should have violent Kaheera first. It's not that big a deal. But this can bring back my Solitude. No, they have Path to Exile. Rough. They needed exactly Path there. So we're going down to 9. They have 3 cards in their hand. Opinions on current Modern meta: Breach, Bauble, galore. I mean, Bauble has just been like galore in Modern for years. I think Modern honestly is like better than it's ever been. Modern will never be a perfect format, but it's going through like a metamorphosis at the moment. I think there's a lot of like changes happening, and I'm enjoying gameplay. I'm enjoying it. Period. Really. My brews have been, I think, really all over the place in a good way lately too. Usually when people come in chat, what do you think of the current Modern meta? And then Breach and Baubles galore. Usually I read this as in, Spike, can you validate my opinions? I really want Bauble or Breach banned. Which is, I don't know. Maybe that's not exactly what you're saying, but that's how I read it. That's how I read it, which is I think a somewhat fair interpretation if we're being honest. Thank you, Doom. Although the Doom goes, this is why I stay quiet into these discussions. But no, you don't. No, you don't. Nah, you never do. I think I'll take this up to 4. What do they got? Breach and Murktide? So I have an Is It Breach deck that's like a fair counterspell strategy. That's basically playing Breach over Murktide. We trophied with it last week. I liked it. Why I Solitude Kaheera for 3 life against the burn deck. You think it's fair gonna go live? Fair enough. Just say you're not always quiet about it. Play an Eidolon. Yeah, 7 minutes to complain about Modern Horizons 2. Alright, with a Reef on top, I'm just gonna block, I think. MH2 made Modern really accessible for new players. Cards are really expensive. That's true, that's true. Modern was like a really cheap, easy to get into format before Modern Horizons 2. And then, as we all know, after Modern Horizons 2, it then became expensive for the first time. A lot of lands in play. Got a lot of lands in play. Still doing pretty good, though. They bolted me and not Solitude. Okay, then they killed the Solitude. Alright. It's honestly like, it would be difficult to flood even more than we have at the moment. But possible. We even have 3 of these Horizon lands, thankfully. Alright, now we get to start going off. Probably just getting another Reef, right? When I was a kid, my dad said to me that he was going out to the store to buy Modern Horizons 2 packs. And then he just never came back, which is why I personally hate this set. So we have to put our opponent to 1 here, which means they can't tap the Canyon. Cute. I don't, and the Modern is cheaper performance too. You can build a deck over time by buying cards. That's not possible anymore. Every 2-3 years, exclusive to Modern sets. You can sprint and shake up the meta. Okay, this is a really, really common thing that gets said. That I'm there's usually I see a lot of truth in like the popular Magic opinions, right? And this is one that I really strongly disagree with. This is a point that I hear echoed a lot. That the issue with Modern Horizon sets is that you used to be able to buy into a Modern deck and play that same Modern deck for years and years without having to buy a new one. What format are you fucking playing? What format are you playing? It has not been like that for nearly over 10 years now, or around 10 years. Like, ever since they banned Twin and Pod, Modern has been in a constant cycle of broken cards being printed, insanely destroying the format, and you have to, and like you just, in decks that were viable, completely not viable. Literally, what format have you been playing for the last 10 years? If anything, ever since Modern Horizons 2, the metagame, this like year and a half post Image 2 has been a much more stable metagame where you could have bought a deck, played the exact same deck, in a much more stable way than any era in between that time. Any era between that time. And I think we'll see what Modern Horizons 3 is like in 2 years, but, like, I don't know. We're still like, 2 years away from Modern Horizons 3. There's a Lord of the Rings set this year. We'll see what that's like. But, But like literally, what whenever these conversations come up, I just feel like I've been playing a different format from everyone else. That's just what it feels like to me. Maybe I need to Fury pitch the Harbinger here. I know they have Solitude. Maybe it's because I play primarily Storm. That deck was resilient to its own bans. I mean, Storm, I mean, there was like a full year plus before MH2 that Storm wasn't that viable in the Prowess Heliod metagame. Okay, so let's actually go Vial in Voice first here. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. We don't have to have the same fucking conversation every single day, or maybe we do. But I think in a lot of ways the reality is that people during the pandemic, especially, people like mostly just didn't play much Modern. Especially during the pandemic, I think people mostly just didn't play Modern, and a lot of people came back to Modern during Modern Horizons 2. And then when they came back, they found that their deck wasn't viable. But in many or most of these cases, these decks have not been viable for a long time. Is my opinion. Kurt Bros with the gifted something, thank you. Yeah, it's somewhat pretty common opinion, Lord. It's okay. I know we've given the same rant many times. Not personal. It's just I'm not even in rage. I just get stun locked because I just feel like these opinions that people have, it feels so disconnected from my own personal experience. And obviously I don't engage with the game in a way that most people do. So that's, and to some extent to be expected, right? But like I think like a lot of the criticisms for the Horizon set, or for me, I actually, like, in retrospect especially, think that Modern Horizons 1 was like a really negative force for the format. And I think that then it's not just Modern Horizons 1, but it was like that whole era of Throne of Eldraine, War of the Spark, Theros Beyond Death, Ikora with the Companions. Like, all of that came out around the same time. And it was all so fast. Broken cards constantly. Format being destroyed constantly. Cascade Valky is another great example of just like this era being really, really rough. And I think what a lot of people don't realize, or like in my opinion at least, like this era was really just not going to end without a set like Modern Horizons 2. And obviously, like, Modern Horizons 2 is not a perfect solution, but like Modern was such a flawed, wild format that was just in a really big state of disrepair, a really, really big state of disrepair that it needed like a hard reset like Modern Horizons 2, in my opinion. So they're playing the version with Forest and Island. I really don't like these in the Ephemerate Recommission deck, but it's okay. We got 2/1/1, and then what are we gonna do? I'm drawing a Risen Reef. My argument will never be deck diversity. I don't think the gameplay is a little great, but in the past, not my cup of tea. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, obviously, that's always fine. I don't like the gameplay. That's always a valid argument. At least in the case of players like Doomwake, I'm also always like, this is kind of something that always confuses me. Like, is it that Doomwake doesn't? Is it like Doomwake and players like Doomwake don't like the gameplay of Modern, or is it after like nearly 1,000 hours of Modern Horizons 2 gameplay, they're tired of it? Because like I feel like that's maybe like a more accurate way to phrase it, where like I know that Doomwake, or I thought that she liked it for like 2,000 hours or something like that. It seemed like you were having fun at the beginning, and like maybe just like games were not meant to be enjoyed for like more than like 1,000 hours. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'm curious why you say MT reset the format. I don't quite understand it when you have a minute. Yeah. I mean, so like, I thought it was. Again, I always feel like I do a better job articulating than I actually do, but again, Modern Horizons 1, from War of the Spark until maybe Kaldheim. I'm trying to remember exactly when I feel like things. When we got into the Heliod Prowess metagame. But you had like Modern having a completely new era. Like every set release almost. There was like a card or deck that needed to be banned, or multiple cards that needed to be banned. I think even like a really good example here is, I don't think I played too much in the day, so the cards are swinging. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's fine for you to not like the gameplay. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, you have War of the Spark, and you have to ban Mike and Sith Lattice, and then you have Teferi and Narset being really annoying. It's only one card effectively banned from the set, but it was kind of, the start. And then you had Corset 20, Field of the Dead, just being so incredibly dominant. Throne of Eldraine, you have 3 banned cards in Throne of Eldraine. Mystic Sanctuary, Once Upon a Time, Oko. You have 2 banned cards in Modern Horizons 1. You have Uro banned in Theros Beyond Death. You have Luris and Yorion banned in Okora, and these are just the banned cards. I don't think anything was banned in Corset 2021. Am I wrong about that? I don't think there's anything banned. I could be wrong. Oh, dude, this was the Snoop set? Okay, this one was good. Oh, this was the Stormwing set? This was a based set, actually. But Zendikar Rising, you had the MDFCs, which were actually like really problematic. Like this is kind of quiet, but Zendikar Rising got Simian Spirit Guide banned. This is like, I think, a somewhat like understated thing, but I really think that Zendikar Rising got Simian Spirit Guide banned because you had Belcher and Oops all spells all of a sudden here. You also had Omnath. I mean, Omnath is like, Omnath got Yorion banned. Don't know if any extra cards got banned. And then you had Kaldheim with Tybalt's Trickery and then Valky, which like also just absolutely broke the format. And then I think you had a pretty stale metagame in Strixhaven and stuff, but Modern Horizons 2 was like, I think, a really hard reset and a hard like kind of change in this trend. I guess trend is a good word to use that we had been seeing. I think I'm just sending with the team, actually. Okay, so I'm going to Ephemerate the Reef here. Sacrifice, right? Do you think it's partly because the pitch elementals gave us free answers to problematic cards? Yes, I mean that's absolutely the design of the pitch elementals. They're there as safety valves for the format. I'm a big fan of the pitch elementals, honestly. I think that like maybe Fury should have dealt 3 damage. Maybe Solitude should have been a 2/1, but I'm a big pitch elemental fan. I think that they are good for the format. Not everybody shares that opinion. I think they're good for the format. Missed a damage by Vialing and Reef. But it says sick draws. You too. You too, friend. Ephemerate or Rebirth cards with elementals too strong? I would say no. I would say no. They're like a viable strategy. They're not good against everything. Each one of them is good against something. Each one of them is good against something, but they're not good against everything. Yeah, Omnath is not playable in this deck with no fetches. It's also not recommissionable, but I think it is mediocre. So it's better in my... So Omnath is like a good card in my opponent's deck, but it's still not recommissionable, and it makes you play Island and Forest and your like Cavern of Souls. I guess like they make it work by playing all the fetch lands, but I just like how this mana base is really painless without all the fetch lands. Are the pitch elementals too ubiquitous? Like, absolutely not. The pitch elementals are not too ubiquitous, in my opinion. In fact, they're not even, like, that popular right now. Like, if you look at the top decks on Goldfish, no pitch elementals, no pitch elementals, no pitch elementals. This is a pitch elemental deck. This is a pitch elemental deck. No elementals, no elementals, no elementals, no elementals. This is an elemental deck. No elementals, elemental deck. No elementals, no elementals, no elementals. Like, out of these top 15, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 decks that play them. So it's just like, wow, they conceded. I would not say that they're too ubiquitous, especially when they're like, you know, in all colors, you know. Oh yeah, Yawgmoth. I counted blue white as an elemental deck. I didn't count Yawgmoth. Yawgmoth plays endurance, so 5. But it's like, you know, sure. I counted. Did I not count Living End? Okay, maybe 6. Okay, no, they're too ubiquitous then. You're right, I didn't count Living End. I did count blue white. I thought I counted whatever. I don't know if you can count it. You can count Yogg, sure. Aimlet also has endurance. All right, they're too ubiquitous. I was wrong. A lot of Murktide have Solitude Fury side. I mean, I even think... Whatever. Whatever. I counted rhinos. Yeah, they're definitely staples. They're definitely staples of the format. I'm not arguing that. Okay, I don't think I want the Fulminator. Skelemental's okay. Wisp is okay. It's okay. It's fine. Just need to not get super stun locked on this, to be honest. Could probably keep this on the draw. We need a land for a Reef. Vial would be nice. We have Fury, Ephemerate. Kind of hard to mulligan. Fix them by adding if it was cast. So you can't just not to be able to Ephemerate or Solitude them. I don't know. I don't personally feel like the scam elements of these are like a huge problem. I think like the fact that like Fury, Ephemerate, Solitude exists and you can still have success with creature strategies, it honestly seems like hard to me to like argue that it's a huge problem. Like there are some creature-based strategies that are not viable, but if this is a format where Ephemerate Solitude is legal and viable and like solid, but decks like Yawgmoth and Hammer Time and Merfolk and Goblins and you know, yesterday we were like, you know, doing all right with Greasefang. Not anything crazy. That's not a great example, probably. But you know, there are tons and tons of viable creature decks in the format. I just don't know how you can like really argue that it's a big problem. I guess. Let's draw a land here. Did not draw the land. So I think I'm gonna go evoke Fury, Ephemerate. You know, I think another important, good, whatever thing to internalize is that Modern will never be a perfect format. It will never have everything for everyone. There will always be problems with it. There will be staples. There will be cards that are really, really good. Modern has never been a perfect format. Will never be a perfect format. And I think like if you were if you were gonna ban the incarnations, then all of a sudden like I think there's a really good chance that Yawgmoth, Titan, Hammer Time are like way too good, and it's just there's just like a lot of like dominoes that would fall without them. The best budget deck, Prowess. Prowess is another good example of like, you know, really Burn and Prowess are like really viable at the moment too. I think that the Yorion ban helped both of those strategies. I mean, so Burn was like good against Yorion, but Burn players didn't like playing against it because Omnath was so scary. Kind of a weird dynamic, honestly. Yeah, this is always how the conversation goes. The biggest problem is upfront cost. I agree. I don't think it's like this point that Modern is expensive is true, There's also, I don't think, any productive conversation to be had around it other than offering like alternatives like rental services on Magic Online or, you know, budget decks. But like, I don't think that there's really any productive conversation that ever comes out from that specific point. It is true. It is true. It would be better if it was more accessible. I am definitely on board with that. But it's just like, I don't usually think there's much else to say about it. All right, so I think I like the Awakener here. I like the Awakener. We can move on. I know I always have such a hard time moving on. I can play that untapped this turn, which is relevant if I draw another Ephemerate. I think if they had a Solitude, they likely would have already used it here, right? But I think I'm actually going to tutor another Solitude. Maybe I just tutor another Reef. The thing is, I'm kind of scared of Ephemerate, so... And then, like, they don't know about this other Solitude that's in my hand, so I can go, like, Solitude, pitch, Recommission. And then if they have an Ephemerate, then we kind of I get to catch them by surprise here. Don't even seem like they have one, so... Alright, rewarded for playing the Canopy untapped. There's a common cycle lands from Phyrexia that have the Sphere. They can all cycle themselves to draw a card. Cool. I'm glad we finally circled back to what the payoff for Sphere was. Is Modern and Paper Online more expensive? Paper. Like, so Magic Online can be like relatively, like you can even make money somewhat consistently on Magic Online using a rental service. This is something I did like as an income source for a long time when I was struggling, and is something that I don't like. I'm not recommending it as a tool for you to necessarily, you know, do to make money. It used to be a bit easier, but it's also true like the cards are a lot more liquid on Magic Online too. Yeah, let's Solitude their Solitude so that I can attack with my Thunderkin Awakener and get a Risen Reef. Yeah, it used to be a bit easier to go infinite. So I draw a... Oh, I guess Tribal Land doesn't let me Skelemental because I have the Canopy. Skelemental is kind of hard to cast on. Actually, I think I hold this to trigger the Reef next turn, just violet it on 2. So I guess I'll just be sacking this. Draw another one. Get back Harbinger, tutor Reef. What it used to be easier, what chains make it harder? So it was a combination, like there are two big things that made it used to be way easier to make money. Like when I was like really struggling to pay rent and groceries and bills and stuff, I would pretty regularly make like $700 or $800 playing Magic Online. But that was before Arena was announced. So like when they announced Arena, the Magic Online economy crashed, thinking that it was going to be a client that worked. Of course, as we all know now, Arena ended up not being a client that worked. So we kind of just all went back to playing Magic Online, or at least that's, you know, how I recall things going. Just did not end up being a functional client, but the ticket like was like overnight like 40 or 50% cheaper than it was. Then after that, like they like got away with competitive. So leagues used to be competitive leagues and then casual leagues, and now they're like, I think they feel very similar how they used to competitive wise. They kind of push the casual players out. If you if you want my opinion, but it used to be a little bit different. Oh, brutal. Well, I can tutor another Reef for next turn, I guess. Green Linen, think of the 27 months. This matchup's weird. We all, yeah. I'm mostly teasing. I know that most people still play Arena, but I don't know. I mean, how old is Arena now? Like 5 years, at least 4 years, and it's like still no Pioneer. Still no Pioneer. Economy is really bad. I don't know. There's a lot to complain about with Arena. Five years since closed beta. Yeah. Wow, no attack with Fury. I have a Fulminator character have made money. How do you make money off Arena? Because a Magical Knight, you can just sell your cards. Is it just like the tournaments? Because I don't even know if that counts. Because like any tournament you can make money in. I guess if it counts for you, it counts. But like I don't know. Arena opens. If you're playing a tournament, you can make money. I don't know. That's like. That's not like that unique, really. You stream Arena? Sure. That's a way. I don't think streaming counts necessarily. I don't know. But sure, the tournaments. It's okay. If you're an Arena fan, that's fine. Matt, the nice, one important thing to remember after these kind of conversations is that the nice thing about Magic is that there are a lot of ways to play it, and there are ways for all of us to play it. There's something for everybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a Fury here. Definitely gonna kill their Reef and their Harbinger. Oh wow. We have one Harbinger in the yard. I'm not 100% sure I'm supposed to attack with this. I think I am. So, best case scenario, we draw Ephemerate here. That is not a bad outcome either. I think the Vantage was from a Reef trigger, so I'll go ahead and crack this now. Okay. Yeah, this deck is really good. Yeah, I mean, these kind of matchups, it's so easy to miss something like cracking a fetch. It's just so easy to not play perfectly. Okay, opponent is not going to be happy. I have another Reef in my hand. I might still lose. I don't know. I'm going to take up the other Vial to 3, I guess, for Kaheera. How often would this deck draw your whole library without endurance? Not that often. You can kill them. Why doesn't regular elementals play Aether Vial? This version is worse than my version, honestly, is my opinion at least. I think the mana's worse. I think no Vial is incorrect. I think if you want to play this kind of deck, you need to be like a control deck and not a Risen Reef deck. Alright, getting a little flooded again at the end, though. Kaheera can chump block and put me to 1 with the Reef in play. Have plenty of live draws. Remember, Kaheera itself is not an elemental. think that was 3 lands in a row. Yeah, it was land from Horizon Canopy draw, land for draw step, land for Risen Reef. All 3 canopies have been sacked. What a grindy game. I think I'm on 21 lands, 3 of them in their yard, 4, 5, 6, 7. Honestly, like only 10 lands through the deck at this point in the game is not actually that bad. But just to get 3 in a row kind of stinks in that spot. Alright, so we don't have anything else, which I don't think they do. They must have just drawn that voice. We have plenty of outs here. Best draws are Recommission, Harbinger, Solitude, Fury. Awakener's good. If I Kaheera still in play, I could get back Solitude here, although I can also just draw a Solitude. Let me attack first. I want to cast the Solitude after I have this Reef in play. I can also have Harbingered here. I think the second Reef trigger is better. I haven't played a land yet, right? Well, both of my vials are on 3. It's kind of the problem here. I think I'm still just going to hard cast, exile the voice so I can keep my Harbinger alive, and then it'd be really nice to find a 3 mana. Oh, perfect. So perfect. Okay, I want to play that as my land for turn because I can now Ephemerate. Or if I've only drawn 1 Ephemerate. There's 3 still in the deck, 20 cards left, so we're pretty likely to find one of these 4 looks here. Two more lands, okay. Yeah, this is one of the swingiest matchups I have literally ever played. Oh, I sacked the triggers wrong. Whoops. So one less look here. Doesn't matter. Literally never been punished for anything in my entire life. Guess I gotta learn to draw Ephemerates. Dude, what? Drawing Ephemerates. I had 3 left. I had 22 cards in the library. I guess so, huh? I guess they didn't draw any either. But like, I had one early. I had one very early. And then it was like, the next one was like 30 cards deep or something. I guess so, huh? There is a Karuga over there. Well, let's keep this. I think you kind of have to... We only have like 1 draw at a land. I guess I'll just play Courtyard Pass and see what we draw. I can also get Fulminator Mage with like double Recommission. I'm just gonna get the Reef. Branchwood Prowler. It's much better than Flowhedron. Well, I'm not playing Flowhedron. You can play Flowhedron. Like, this is an example of a game where you'd almost want it, but that card also sucks. What is... Yeah, if someone wants the exclamation point card, Prowler, I'll read it. Branchwood Prowler. Land, please. Here's Battlefield Mill 3. You may put a land card from among them. If you don't put a counter, it's a 1/1. In your 21 land deck, I don't know what the number is, but it's probably close to like, in a 21 land deck, you're probably like what, 12% to brick, which is not very good. Maybe even higher than that. It is nice with Awakener though. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's good with the Recommission plan too. Yeah, I'm also not sure what you caught. 2 mana 2/2. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad with the 2 mana 2/2, right? Rough. There's also another 2 for Aether Vial. I mean, yeah, I know you can Aether Vial it in. I don't... This is not like a really strong selling point for me, to be honest. If I had like a flex spot, I'd be, you know, also of course more interested in it. But I don't really feel like you have too many flex spots here. All Risen Reef opponents today. I would want to do the math on bricking, but again, in a 21 lane deck, your number's not like probably high enough with only 3 looks, right? The mill 3 is relevant. It's okay with Awakener. I'm just not sure like it's optimal. It's definitely not like a bad choice. I don't want you to give the impression that I hate it. Maybe we're Skelemental. I mean, I think you have to play a Skelemental with Awakener. It is hard to cast though. But I think just as a 2 to target, it's just too important. Can I draw a land, please? Thank you. Cut Skelemental. Yeah, I don't like to hate it, but like this, I think the Skelemental is important enough, or more important than that kind of effect. Although I will say, like in this spot in this game, if it was in the deck, I would have definitely tutored for it because I had like specifically a 2-land Harbinger, Awakener, double Recommission hand, and so like, you know, I'm not saying what's right and what's wrong, but what I am saying is in these kind of spots you need to ask yourself, are these specific hands having is it relevant enough that you'll tutor in these spots? Is it that much more relevant than naturally drawing it and having it be like an underpowered card? And it might be correct. I just don't know. Yeah, Soulstroke's not a very good card. But like, so like you just have to ask yourself that question, determine which side of the argument you're on, and then go from there. Okay, I was really hoping that if they killed my Reef, it would be with a non-exile spell. Oh, they have touched the Spirit Realm. No, I don't think Elementals did well recently. I mean, the deck is good, but maybe people are just waking up. I mean, I need to get Reef going again, so I'm going to tutor Reef, put Kaheera in my hand, I guess. Double block the Shaman token. We will double block Solitude. I don't know, the mana's tough, but also like they get an extra card off Kaheera. So need to use the restroom. Getting Kaheera here for sure. Pitch Elementals aren't even that good with Smart, proceeds to play nothing but Elemental Mirrors. I mean, that's just anecdotal evidence, my friend. They're I don't know. It's okay. I hate the debate lords though. I respond to a chatter saying I don't think that pitch elementals are ubiquitous enough to be problematic. It was, you know, the point I was making. And I play against like the only Kaheera elementals player and another elementals player. I don't know. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Go back to Reddit, please. Okay, land would be nice to recommission Harbinger. Ephemerate okay. It'd be so much better if we could Ephemerate the Fury. But we're dead. So I want at least the Wispmare. I don't know if I want Foundation Breaker. Fulminator's okay. Probably want to trim a Fury at least one Fury. I could be on the full 4 Fulminators on the play. Usually that's probably an okay plan against the Kaheera deck. Kind of risky. Oh, Fury is also maybe better than Solitude. Especially with all these Fulminators coming in. Maybe we want 1 Solitude still as a tutor target. Trim a Voice. Alright, I'm going to use the rest real quick. Be right back. Here's a good general rule of thumb, though, about cards are staples if you like them, and they're ubiquitous and a problem if you don't like them. That is a good way to define it. Okay, sorry about the delay, chat. Let's play the Vial here. Can't currently cast the Ephemerate. It's okay. Wait, you're not saying Respect the Cat cut Leyline Binding from their deck? There's no way. There's like a 0% chance that you don't play Binding in your Karuga deck. Like red, black. It's Timeless Dragon? No, so much value. Am I ever gonna cast Ephemerate? Yeah, I might need to draw land at some point. Okay, it's good to fairy. Draw's been kind of awkward this game. Ephemerate, terrible against a fairy. Maybe we can kill it with voice. Let's see if we get Timeless Dragoned here. Now we get second to Fairied. Fourth land? No fourth land. Big draw step for me. Lots of good draws. No good draws to be found here, but thankfully when you're in need, or Kaheera, sorry, Kaheera is here to save you. Could name a cat with the courtyard, I guess. Classic, Screw vs. Flood also. There's the fourth land, though. Into Fabled instead. Okay, so if we cast Kaheera, we get to attack the Teferi through the blocker, at least. Awakener would be okay draw. Yeah, I'm going to cast Kaheera this turn instead of Second Canopy. Second Canopy is definitely higher upside, but it's fine. Go face. I think going face is incorrect here. Getting Timeless Dragon. A little bit better than Timeless Dragon. No, land drop is nice. Our opponent boarded in Dispute against us? That's wild. Another land. Ugh. Devastating. Well, I'm going to kill that Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Is there a reason you tapped those lands specifically? They were the only... I need. What are we talking about? To cast Kaheera? Those are the only lands I could tap to cast Kaheera. It's not an elemental. It's a cat beast. No fair. I need to draw Risen Reef. Solitude, pitch Omnath, trigger Reef, target the voice. I still have like fine blocks even with this. I'm gonna hold the Ephemerate here. Do you have Omnath mana now? Gross. So we can draw our best draws are Fury or Solitude. Or we only have one Solitude or Risen Reef. Yeah, I mean, I just need to draw Fury probably, and then like Ephemerate the Fury and kill their board, or like ideally like best case scenario, draw Reef first, Violent Reef, draw into Fury, Ephemerate Fury. Obviously, when you're this behind, stuff like that is going to be what has to happen, but sometimes you get particularly lucky like that. Recommission on Skelemental, deal my opponent 7, make them discard 2 is probably my only line. But against this Omnath is not going to do enough, probably. The fact that they had Solitude for the Reef was really, really tough for us this game. Or sorry, not, so that was the last game, actually. They discard a second copy of Timeless Dragon. What is going on? Can Ephemerate the Skelemental second and stacked up a blocker? I mean, that line is just like way worse than like saving this for our comeback turn. Oh boy. So funny. I feel like the Skelemental summons the Timeless Dragon to my opponent's hand. Okay. I'm gonna have to draw 4. Why not block Reef? Oh fuck, I don't know why I didn't block Reef. Like, I should have. I think what happened was my brain was thinking there's no way they ever attack with the Reefs into the Mare, and so I'm just thinking I'm always gonna block this, and then obviously that's not what happened. I think today I'm going to be practicing Dark Souls off stream. Specifically just Ornstein and Smo and 4 Kings, and then we should be able to get a new PB on Thursday. Yeah, we'll just deck them out. Alright, Reef into Fury. Ah, close. Not close, actually. Okay. GG to Respect the Cats. Karuga, the superior Risen Reef deck. Ooh. Alright, I guess is this where our hot streak ends? Maybe. Alright, we're gonna keep this. We're gonna put back the second vial and then, like, Thicket, maybe? Maybe Recommission. The Recommission. Practice on stream, over the pressure before on stream. I think I don't want to practice on stream today. Alright, post board, this matchup gets pretty good. Game 1 on a multi-5, it's not terrible. Okay, that's really good pickup. So I guess I will be not playing my voice here because I want to be able to violent voice after I cast my Reef next turn. Yeah, I mean, I'll put the final run on YouTube for sure, but I'm gonna take some time editing it and doing like an intro to it. I might do 2 videos. I might do 2 videos for it. So like I might do one, like just upload the run in its entirety, maybe with a small intro, and then I think doing like an edited, like watchable version is also something I'm interested in. So like a 10 to 15 minute, maybe 20 minutes at most, edited, like digestible video. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So I think one nice thing would be is if like y'all could clip good moments from the run. Like I should have asked someone to clip yesterday. Like right before we went to Gwyn, how I was like, this is for everybody that, you know, watched me die to Gwyn 35 times. I think that would have been a nice moment to add to the future video. So maybe I'll go back and clip it today or something. But I need to start saving those so we can get an idea for the build up. Okay, so I'm going to cast, I think, Reef with my mana here, and then hold up the instant speed Reef. Yeah, the parry clip will be really good. Absolutely. Let me stack the triggers like this. If I draw a white card off the first Reef trigger, I could just get a Solitude pretty easy. Could get a Fulminator Mage, blow up the Saga. I think I'm just gonna get another Reef. Yeah, I mean, Solitude and Fury are really good. The thing is, like, they're better if you have 3 Risen Reefs in play. They can just also never play around this Flickerwisp this turn. Skelemental to take the last 2 cards. Yeah, that was maybe fine. We could still die, though. Yeah, Reflecting Pool does add any color with one of the tribal lands. We're playing just 1. You can play 2, though. How good of an elemental engine would WotC have to print in Naya to make you cut Reef from this deck? I have no idea. It would be really easy to play any Naya card in this deck. And Risen Reef. It would have to be like... It would have to say... You know, it would have to be better than Risen Reef and say you can't have any copies of Risen Reef in your deck. I don't think... So, with Risen Reef, you don't reveal the card unless it's a land. Otherwise, it's hidden. And I didn't Harbinger for Wisp. Yeah, I think it's pretty tough for my opponent to not go in on this Inkmoth this turn. Which, again, I just get the Flickerwisp. Next, me, this deck has such a succinct color identity. There's a random Simic card in the middle of it. Well, I will say that that's why I like this mana base over the one we played against 2 matches ago. Should flicker the Ozolith? I think it's fine to flicker the Ozolith. Yeah, that seems right. Need to flicker the land. No, flickering the Ozolith is fine. These counters just disappear. Oh boy. But you can also flickering the Nexus is fine. Devastating for them. Yeah, someone was asking about if the Wisp is good. I think the first Wisp is really good. Oh boy. Risen Reef is also, you know, very broken. Just an insane O card. I don't have enough mana to Solitude Ephemerate, I guess. Or hardcast Solitude Ephemerate. Our deck text disabled. I mean, they're on a cooldown usually. With like I think hard capped at 4 channel points, so they'll be available when they're available. All right, so we're gonna bring in the Breakers, the Chewer, the Wispmare. Cut the Skelemental. Mage is okay. It's kind of. I'll bring it back in on the play maybe. Let's do this. Maybe I turn Recommission. Later, Lord Cockatoo. What do you think his deck's weaknesses are? Tron is a pretty tough matchup without the full 4 Fulminators in the main. It's not that scary, but like honestly, like big mana in combo. So like Storm decks, Tron decks, Titan's like a bit different because you're a Solitude deck, but Titan I don't think is a good matchup. But this is definitely a strategy that like farms the creature decks and farms the fair strategies, and is weaker to big mana in combo. Blood Moon decks are like it depends. Sometimes you just ignore Blood Moon, sometimes it really wrecks you. It's kind of high variance. So I guess breach decks are probably the main things you don't want to face. You have plenty of tools against it. But that's like living in matchup is interesting. I think living in is pretty favored game 1 especially, and then game 2 is pretty different with 4 endurances and then the 4 fulminators. I can keep this on the draw against scales, I think. I've been using my standing desk. I've been using it to stand less, but I've also been like healthier and more active outside of the stream, so I don't need it as much, I guess. But I've still been using it some. I usually like to start the stream standing too because I'm like waking up and getting the blood pumping some. What's a good deck against Scam? Trying to think of the best thing against Scam. Anything with Sanctifier and Vec. Can we play Subtlety? We don't have enough blue cards for Subtlety. The only blue card is like you can't even count Risen Reef, I think, as a blue card for Subtlety. Okay, so I think I'll do the same play I made last game. I actually think blue-white's not favored against Scam, but it's not that bad either. Yeah, I'll probably go to the gym today. Although it's kind of shitty outside, but it's like cold and wet. Let's just get a reef. Yeah, so I've been circling back to that point. Like I do think that when your deck is built around a card, that it's really hard to count that card as a pitchable type for one of your Solitudes or Furies or Forces or whatever. And I think the best example is this. In this deck, like you really can't count Reef as a blue card for Subtlety. Like obviously, like you can pitch it, but you really, really do not want to. So I think like, do we even have any other blue cards? We have the Orvars. Yeah, it's just not enough blue. Oh boy. I guess I can go upkeep, Ephemerate, Harbinger for another reef. Oh no. That's the game. What's the new Nightmare Fuel spoiler? Now I'll take a look at it after I'm done winning real quick. Just show them that they're dead. I think it's kind of a spew, but it also like cuts them off the Springleaf Drum mana. They have 2 cards in hand. I think I'm just, happy enough to let them kindly know that they're super dead. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, man. It's 1 mana, too. Crawling Chorus. Wait, they're literally not even singing in this picture, though. Why would they lie about that? Literally not even singing, dude. New hand hider? Yeah, the hand hider can be all creepy cards. It's probably better to like Harbinger for another reef, but I'm just trying to bury him, I guess. 1 reef is enough for me. Getting very unlucky this game, so flooded. Just a small amount of value here. Okay, your turn. Your turn, opponent. Good luck. Alright, so what is this new? Crawling Chorus. 1 mana, Toxic 1/1. It's a common. Dies, make a 1/1. Might, Toxic 1, can't block. Interesting. Is the full spoiler's not out, is it? Not yet, right? Okay, so we are 3-1. We 4-1 the last league. Back-to-back 4-1s would be pretty nice. making 3/3 at the instep or ETB. Instep only if you have 3 or more artifacts. ETB though. Casting any Norns? I might cast Norn. Again, I remember when it first got spoiled, I was really low on it. I was like, this card is terrible. Y'all are crazy. But like the more I think about it, the more like it only dies to like terminate into Fairy. It's like a really, really unique 5-mana creature because it dodges Binding and Fury and Solitude and Push and Terminate and Heat. It just dodges everything. Or almost everything. So there's a chance that it's good. It's still 5 mana. I think it'll be like relatively fringe no matter what, but I'm likely to cast it. I'm likely to try to cast it. It's important to note always that like you really can never know how good cards are until you play with them a little bit, and I just haven't played with any of them, but I'll be making another first impression YouTube video when we ever have the full spoilers. So I guess I'll be working on that this weekend. So I guess I need this. It's gonna be a busy weekend, just like every weekend for me. Okay, let's just pass. Murktide's a pretty good matchup. I feel like there's like one card I'm kind of forgetting. Kimbo's kind of exciting for Pioneer. Kimbo's really exciting for Pioneer Hammer. Yeah, Rot Priest. Yeah. Whenever a creature control dies, scry 1 point, oil countered. If this was not a mana, that'd be almost good. Which Dragon am I saying is definitely good? Capricious Hellraiser. This is the new Ledger Shredder, I think. Or more specifically, it's the new Bloodbraid Elf is kind of how I'm thinking about it. But it's a 3-mana 4/4 flyer, 3 mana less if you have 9 or more cards in your graveyard. ETB, exile 3 cards at random from your graveyard, and then cast a non-creature non-land card from among them for free. And you can also flicker it and do it again. You can persist it and do it. It's not a cast trigger; it's an ETB trigger, which is really big. It does, and then like the mana value of what you cast is also not restricted. So I'm looking at this like a Bloodbraid Elf, like a 3-mana 4/4 flying Bloodbraid Elf that can even cast like 4 and 5 drops sometimes. Only non-creatures, but that's how I think about it. So I'm going to cast the Reef here, since if they counter it, I can just Thunderkin it back. So if they have Counterspell plus Bolt, so we still have, putting to rebuild. Burn. I don't think it'll be a good burn card now. But the card is just very, oh, I don't have the right mana. Okay, I guess we're passing. Do I want to Flickerwisp this? No. You view the dragon as more of a value card than a combo card? Yes. I think that a lot of people see that card can cast Omniscience, and they're like, oh, it's like a combo card, but it's inconsistent. But it's inconsistent, you won't get your combo card. It's not a combo card, it's a Bloodbraid Elf. It is, we could try it as a combo card, but it's going to be a Bloodbraid Elf. It's a efficiently costed creature, although, like, Bloodbraid's not that efficiently costed, but like this is. It's a 3-mana 4/4 flyer. Cast a spell. Boom, crazy. Like it kind of reminds me of when I was hyping up Rhinos before Modern Horizons 2. Like Starless Agent had been leaked, and like we just kind of had the Rhinos deck ready to go, assuming that the leak was real. And we did a lot of talking about like this was a super common question I kept getting. People kept asking me, is 10 power for 3 mana in Modern even good? Is Shardless Agent and the Crashing Footfalls even good? Yes. The answer to that was yes, and the answer to is a 3-mana 4/4 flyer that casts a non-creature spell. Good. Yes, it's very good. Does it go in Murktide? I think being triple red, no. But I think there will potentially be a new Izzet deck with it. It does compete with Murktide. It does compete with Breach, obviously, but there is still a lot to like about the card. Yeah, Capricious Hellkite. Capricious Hellkite is the name of the card. Yeah, again, in Prowess, Breach might be better. I think that we will like. I haven't really done much brewing with it yet. I usually like to wait for the full set to be out till we start brewing, but Like, just on power level, this card is very good, and I don't think that it really requires you very much to... I mean, it does have deck building restrictions, but they will be worth jumping through. Like, I think, like, this is a good card to pair with Fable of the Mirror Breaker, an Expressive Iteration, and Consider. And, you know, there's like, kind of just a really, really long list, honestly, of cards that this plays well with. And I think that it'll, like, form a new-ish archetype, like, kind of like a more Jundi style archetype than anything else. Yeah, Dark Souls stream tomorrow, Dalton. I'm gonna do some off-stream practice tonight. I think I need it. I think it'll be like kind of like a Jundi deck, is kind of thinking. Yes, Leyland Binding for free. It also, like, so here. Okay, here's I'm giving away the sauce a little bit, but I was thinking that, like, you could play like a mid-range deck with like Shadow Prophecy, Leyland Binding, Hellraiser, because Binding answers graveyard hate for Hellraiser. Shadow Prophecy fills up the graveyard really, really well for your Hellraiser, and then it's another card to flashback effectively. That was kind of like a first place I was going to go with. It was like a domain controlled style shell, but like red based with like Fable the Mirror Breaker. Fable the Mirror Breaker copies Hellraiser, and you just have like, you have a lot of directions beyond that too. Can you explain how Infinite Mana combo with Chalice works at Anviltron? Yeah, you play Chalice for 0 mana with your Anvil in play, and it taps for 1. Then you sack it to your grinding station, and then if you're looping with Scrap Trawler, a lot of times you're just going to use that to net mana rather than to be infinite mana. But it can also be infinite mana with a Mirror Retriever, I think. Or maybe it's not. I mean, it definitely is with 2 Mirror Retrievers. 2 Mirror Retrievers already infinite loop. Usually it's just like to net, but if you have enough pieces, it's infinite. Hold on. Not Chalice of the Void, Everflowing Chalice. But yeah, but for the most part, you don't really use it as an infinite mana piece. The infinite mana part is mostly relevant. So like when you're looping with Mirror Retrievers and stuff. When you're looping with Mirror Retrievers, you're able to hold on. Sorry. When you're looping with Mirror Retrievers, you're able to cast your Karns and beat like an Emrakul, or beat like whatever your opponents have. So like if your opponents can beat your grinding station, but you're still able to loop them with an Emrakul or Endurance or whatever, then you can cast Karn and infinite mana for Ballista. That's really why infinite is relevant. But mostly you just want to like Scrap Trawler loop. So play it for 0, tap for 1, sack it to the grinding station, and then every time you sack a 1 or 2 mana artifact, you're getting it back. Tapping for 1, building up mana is the main way you use it. And also just like helps you cast your 4 drops on turn 3 in you know, the most simple of terms. I think this is how I sideboarded last time. Let's oh no, I wanted to trim a Fury. Let's do this. Ken, 3 months, thank you. How good could creativity into Hellraiser be? It could be really good. It could be really good. I don't know. It's an interesting question. Like, what's cool about like playing creativity over Archon in creativity, or sorry, Hellraiser over Archon in creativity is that a monkey. I do. Hopefully, we don't get turn 2 Blood Moon. I don't think I'm gonna Solitude this, but it's that obviously that your big payoff is just castable. It's just like a castable. You don't have dead cards. It doesn't. It's not going to stabilize as hard as the problem. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the hit. Thank you, Kim with the 3 months, Brent with the 17, and Daxid with the 2. Thank y'all. So if I Solitude Ephemerate, they have Counterspell. It's kind of bad, of course. Gonna disguise the Cavern for now. Could be good to just take another hit. Like, you know, I don't have almost any cards that are like that good for them to hit off Ragavan. I have some. The persist, yeah, and then like you could play persist with it maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of directions to go, but you know, again, I'm thinking it more like a Bloodbraid Elf than a combo card like creativity. But creativity could be like a good hybrid of the two shells, and it's nice that it's a triple red card in a deck that wants to play with Dorver in mind. Do you have a Grounder, Ephemerate, or Priest deck ready to go when one drops? I have not started to build any decks yet. You know, I still have a normal stream to prep for. And so, like, lately my process has been wait for the full spoiler. The weekend after the full spoiler, I'm making a long YouTube video or, like, a relatively long YouTube video talking about every single card I think has any amount of potential in Modern. And usually, like, during that video process is when the ideas for decks start to form a bit more, and then I usually keep the list secret, or I'm like still tweaking them until set release on like the Wednesday after. So that is I think that's been a pretty good structure for it so far, and I think I'm going to stick with that structure. I would really prefer to be able to play my Vial this next turn, but I think it's just better to Endurance here. I'm like really telegraphing the Endurance though. I haven't started saving chests. I usually like regret it when I do it, but maybe I can this time. Is there anything that comes interest to me like binding? Capricious Hellraiser is like, you know, I feel like I'm like, you know, usually pretty good at like identifying new Modern staples. I can be wrong sometimes, obviously. But, like, I think Capricious Hellraiser is insane. It is, that card is, like, it gives me in the same way as, like, when I saw Leyline Binding, I was shocked. I was, like, shocked that they printed it like it was. I'm also shocked that they printed Capricious Hellraiser with the text that they have on the card. Like, maybe the thing I would have changed is that the card that's cast is random. But this card is incredibly pushed and like absolutely seems designed for Modern. Is that the meme Red Mythic? It's the dragon? People really think this is a meme? I don't know. People tend to be, I don't know. Card evaluation is hard. I don't always get it right. I would be shocked if people genuinely thought that card was a meme though. So if they have a counterspell, I think they're pretty likely to counterspell Recommission here. Okay, they didn't. So I can either Aether Vial or I can Solitude Ephemerate here. Aether Vial lets them connive. Yeah, the word meme has lost all meaning for card evaluation. Yeah, I agree. So this is why card evaluation is so hard, but I absolutely agree. I think you made a great point, Kosk. I want to highlight it. People think that this card is a meme because they're like, oh, yeah, you're trying to, like, cast Omniscience off of this. You're trying to cast Omniscience off of this. Dude, if you cast Lightning Bolt off of this card is great. If you cast Rin and Six, Expressive Iteration, Leyline Binding, Shadow Prophecy, Unholy Heat, any non-creature spell with maybe, even Mishra's Bauble, you're getting a 3-mana 4/4 cantrip. That's a really good rate in Modern. Obviously, you have to put some work through it, but also the upside is really, really high too. Like that's just like the absolute floor on the card too, in a deck that is playing this. And so like, it's not a show and tell. It's a Bloodbraid Elf. What if it misses completely? It will. The missing completely should be pretty rare. You're gonna have to flip 3 creatures or lands. The math on that, I don't know what it is, but it should be pretty rare if your deck is built around it. If it misses completely, you cast a 3-mana 4/4 flyer, and you can, you know, move on probably. I don't know. I think that if your deck is mostly non-creatures, which it should be in this deck, you're gonna brick on it incredibly rarely. I could be wrong, but like I think that it's gonna be like less than 10% of the time. Probably less than 5. Maybe not less than 5. Do you think it goes into any current shells? I don't think it slots super well into any current shells. I think it's mostly going to be like a new built around kind of card. I don't think it fits into burn. I really don't think it fits into burn, no. I don't think you want to play like deck 3 mana value cards in burn. Like Breach is like, it doesn't fit into burn for the same reason Breach doesn't fit into burn. I don't think Rhinos plays it because Rhinos doesn't have like the cheap curve for it probably, and like, you know, Rhinos curve is already really high. We'll see, we'll see. It's really hard to hit 9 cards on turn 3 in current iterations. Yeah, you don't have to cast it on turn 3 though, is the thing. I like another thing too is like it feels like a lot like the Treasure Cruise discourse where like obviously Gitaxian Probe was legal at the time, but Gitaxian Probe was legal at the time, but people were casting cruises for 1 mana on turn 3, and not two, it's 2 extra cards than Treasure Cruise for one, but the cards also get to stay in the graveyard, right? So like the future copies cost 3. I don't know. I think that Scam could be actually a really good shell for it. I agree, Scam could be a good shell. You might have to play DRC Bobble. Although red is awkward with the Blood Moons, you're probably cutting Blood Moons. You have a lot of options. Okay, am I going to Solitude here? No. The cards don't stay together. So sure. But the rest of the cards in your graveyard do stay instead of like delving 7. Like, it's not that hard for the second Hellraiser to be used 3 mana next, right? Yes, Thought Scour too. I'm gonna try with Dimulage. I don't think, maybe it could be good in a Phoenix Dimulage shell. It could be. It may be like a little too high on that curve, which is like was already the problem with that deck, to be honest. But again, like the upside of this card is really powerful. Like just like Bloodbraid Elf bricks sometimes, and Bloodbraid Elf is a 4 mana card. This is a card you're probably going to cast on turn 4 more often than turn 3. But like when you compare it to Bloodbraid Elf, Bloodbraid Elf is like on the cusp of being playable in Modern. It pops up sometimes. It's on the cusp. This card is a supercharged Bloodbraid Elf in a deck that, you know, plays maybe more non-creatures, builds up the graveyard, but it is a 4/4 flyer instead of a 3/2 haste with no flying. That's how I'm viewing it, at least. You think it's better than Shredder? I don't think it's like super easy to compare it to Shredder, but it would also be like not really fair of me to compare it, because like you really just can't tell how good a card is until you cast it. And I haven't cast the card yet, so I could be, and as much as I hate to say this word, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but this is my first impression of the card. Also, like what's also crazy to me about the card is you can ephemerate it and you can persist it, and there's no restriction on the mana value of the spell, and it's just an ETB trigger. I think that's pretty crazy. Next thing on Holy Heat, I'll ephemerate in response. Why would it not cast the Heat first? Atla, 9 months, thank you. I mean, I'm definitely blocking, because like they're gonna heat my Solitude otherwise, and I can just like keep Solitude Ephemerate up instead of like losing it. Just like an easy block. Is Jessica Lotus Field dead in Modern? No. Okay, but now do I Ephemerate here? I think also no, like this Ragavan is unlikely to do much with my Endurance coming down. They know you have Ephemerate rebounds, so they lose it if you trade. Or they lose it if they heat also, right? And they lose the heat. Or if they, yeah. I think they should have cast it first. I think that they overthought it. I think that the Ephemerate rebound is like why they overthought it, and like they're pretty clearly playing around like another Ephemerate in the hand, but I don't think it ended up being correct. Do you think we should stick with OG build rather than investigate with Hippo? I mean, we could investigate with the Hippo. I played like one league with like Leyline Binding plus Hippo when we 4-1'd. It could be worth exploring more. There's just, there's just only so much time. So I think I'm gonna play Voice before Violent and Endurance. So if they have Heat as one of their last 2 cards, they don't really get to heat my Endurance very easily. Today I think I'm taking off from Souls. I did like the last 2 days I did full runs on stream, and like even did like a second backup stream, so I don't feel too bad about missing today for Souls. But I also like need a day off to practice Ornstein and Smo and 4 Kings off stream. So I'm going to be doing a few hours of that tonight, in addition to like the Magic play testing tonight. So I'm going to be very busy today. But I think with like a little more practice on those 2 fights, and I think really the big key is going to just be relaxing when I fight them. I'm going to try to like intentionally be in like a state of relaxation today. I think with a little more practice, we can like smash our PB. Yeah, we'll be playing Dark Souls again, probably Thursday and Friday, at least Thursday. Lord willing. Gwyn willing. I think I'll let that go.
Look what I found.
Oh, nice.
Do you know where it was?
I'm scared to ask.
Behind the couch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I forgot you even had that one.
Thank you, sweetie. They finally deploy the Murktide. We're pretty ahead here. I like how on 3 of these turns our plan was just let Ragavan hit us. Cap 3 months ago, thank you. Can Ellis Runstein actually play doesn't die binding Heat or Solitude? Yeah, dodges, like, again, when I first evaluated it, this is even like a point other people made to me at first. I was like, oh no, I don't think so. But the more I think about Elishnorn, the more I like it. I think that it's unlikely to be big. I think it's unlikely to be a really particularly impactful card. But I do think that it is possible that it sees some amount of play, which I know is not a glowing review, but is how I feel. This is a good example of the kind of deck that can afford to just let yourself get hit by Ragavan, because they just don't have very many cards that even matter. Just it's like a Bird of Paradise. Well, I wanted to Kaheera this turn, but they've got 1 card. Let's maybe get a Reef Trigger or something. Was it worth it? So I wanted to keep the Vial on 3 here so that I could Kaheera if I needed to. But I would definitely consider picking up in those spots. Yeah. Elishnorn doesn't seem too bad. Just also doesn't seem too good, if that makes sense. Okay. So we back-to-back 4-1s. Let's just play another one. I'm really enjoying this deck. I think that usually 3 leagues is a pretty good sample size for a day. And then we can maybe return to the Izzet Breach deck tomorrow. But I'm having a really good time, and I'm kind of thirsty for a trophy. Let's open these chests too. Oh. Ooh, big money. Big money on the Orvar.